Hello from Brisbane Airport. I've literally just arrived from Sydney flying aboard a Virgin Australia 737-800, but that's not what this video is about. Instead, I'm reviewing my connecting flight to Gladstone, and more specifically, the aircraft that this route is operated by, the Fokker 70. Unfortunately, my first flight from Sydney was delayed by over an hour, which means I won't get to explore Brisbane Airport very much. However, from what I did see, the domestic terminal looked quite comfortable and offered plenty of meal options as well as public seating, so you could relax and wait for your flight if your gate hadn't opened yet. That's my flight, VA-1717, departing at 4:40 PM from gate 45. I found transiting at Brisbane very straightforward and efficient. There were signs everywhere detailing where gates were, and because I was flying domestically within Australia, I didn't need to pass through any sort of passport control or security. There you can see a Fokker 70, the same type of aircraft I'm flying today. However, as you can see, the tail design is not from Virgin Australia, but rather from Airlines. This is because, although I booked a Virgin Australia ticket, the flight is operated by Airlines under a wet lease agreement. Before long, I had arrived at the gate barely 7 minutes after I disembarked my first flight. I got there just as boarding started. This is the boarding pass I was handed today.
Yeah. Thank you.
It was soon my turn to board, and as I walked across the tarmac, I got to see the wonderful bird I was flying on today. She's registered as VH-NUY and is 29 years old. She was delivered to Airlines Airways in 2019 after previously flying for Austrian Airlines. Surprisingly, Airlines has opted for all 80 seats in the Fokker 70 to be economy. They are in a 2-3 layout. This is my seat for today. 14G, right at the back of the plane. What a great view of the wing and engine. The first thing I noticed after sitting down was how wide the seats were. They had lots of padding and were very comfortable, although there was not an adjustable headrest. The armrest was also wider than usual and had a built-in ashtray, but as usual, smoking was prohibited. The seats in this aircraft have incredibly generous recline, especially considering the Fokker 70 is almost always used for short-haul routes. With that, we began our pushback from the gate right on time and began taxiing to our runway. Now that we're up in the air, let's take a look at the seat in front of you. It's fairly simple, a pull-out tray table that can be extended forward, and there's a small literature pocket below this with the safety card. The legroom is amazing, especially for a flight that is less than an hour long. In addition to this, there are reading lights on the ceiling and personal air vents, which is something that many newer and more modern aircraft don't have. The coastline you can see in the distance is Rainbow Beach, which is roughly 230 kilometers from Brisbane. Now let's have a quick look at what is in the literature pocket. There is no magazine, just a safety card. It's quite standard, containing the instructions on what to do if the aircraft has to make an emergency landing, or how to put on your oxygen mask. On the back is a picture of a Fokker 70. Before I knew it, we were approaching Gladstone, and I realised I had forgotten to record one of the most important parts of the video, the Virgin Australia Fokker 70 loo review. Since I'm flying on a small aircraft, the bathroom is understandably quite small. Despite this, it comes with some useful amenities like a coat hook, a toilet, which is not only useful but necessary too, a tap, some air sickness bags, and some liquid soap to wash your hands with. A few minutes after I got back to my seat, the captain announced we had begun our descent into Gladstone. One small but cool thing I realised about the Fokker 70 is that instead of having window blinds the same shape as the window, they are actually rectangular and are meant to be pulled over. So, what do I think of Virgin Australia's Fokker 70? The service is pretty average for a normal short-haul flight in economy. No food or beverage, but cups of water were handed out to people that wanted it. There's no entertainment options, not even a magazine, but then it's easy enough to download some movies to your phone or simply pass the 50 minutes by staring out the window. Seeing as Alliance Airways is actually trying to slowly phase out their Fokker 70s, it doesn't make much sense for them to majorly improve and refurbish all their Fokker 70 seats. Perhaps they could offer a small drink service and a magazine, but there isn't really anything more that they could add after that. And, to be honest, they don't need to. Alliance Airlines flies its Fokker 70 to many rural parts of Australia that other airlines don't offer routes to, so whether or not you want to take them, sometimes they're the only choice. After taxiing to one of Gladstone's 4 parking stands, I deboarded the plane. So, after everything I've said, is the Fokker 70 by Alliance Airways the right choice? In my opinion, yes. They not only have wide seats and great legroom, but the Fokker 70 has started to become a relic in the aviation community, making it pretty amazing to fly on. If you enjoyed this trip report, please like it and comment your thoughts on the Fokker 70. To not miss out on future trip reports, which include comparing Singapore Airlines A350 and 777, and flying long haul on Scoot, a Singaporean low-cost carrier, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.